Well. Here we are for yet another stream. I'm finally feeling better. So, yeah, I'm also just gonna shift myself over slightly. Just so that way I'm a little more centered, because I did have to shift it in OBS because the window isn't exactly 6:9, so it doesn't fit properly. Because it's taking the window size, which is slightly smaller because the top bar and bottom bars are not part of the window. Only the main scene is, which is when it's getting shown, so I have to shift it. But yeah, now I'm more centralized, and when I go like this, it'll also be slightly better for the gaming scene. But we are here, and we are going to be gaming, and I have no idea what my desktop is doing. Okay, and it goes blank when I full screen. Okay, that's fun. I didn't know that before. So we're not going to be full screening. I am 0. Okay, that's the music. I'm going to lower that down. Also, that reminded me, I need to turn on the desktop audio. So around there, and sound effects can go to around there. There we are. Alright. Gotta bring in my voice. The rising sun hit me right in the face as soon as its rays splashed through a crack in the window curtains, which were so inopportunely located right above my bed. I barely restrained myself from letting out a miserable groan, and tried to turn over, hiding my face in the pillow to sleep off as much as I could. Good morning, Zero. You awake already? And I've already messed up the line. Rise and shine, son. You have a lot of work today. Dad, too cheerful for a man who got up at the sunrise, opened the curtains that serve as a door to my room, and stepped right up to my bed. He put his hands on his hips, beaming with a wide smile. I fidgeted on my bed and tried to press my face harder into the pillow. Ah, please, let me sleep. It's still early. Early? It's not too early, son. It's time to accomplish new feats. What feats? Dad, really? What do you mean? Your everyday son is a little feat for our entire community. Come on, get up. I made an agreement with Stefan. He promised he'd see you the best outfit for your birthday for free. He agreed to do it as a gift. Can you believe it? I'm sorry to anyone who saw the previous stream / part of this. I lost the data to it, and so I have to go from scratch. Fun. Without hiding this sarcastic note in my voice, I chuckled from under the blanket. It is unbelievable. An act of outstanding generosity. I told him the same thing. Stefan is the best tailor in our village. A truly gifted man, as if the Mother of Heaven herself kissed him on his hands. So get up, son. Your mom has already made breakfast. You don't want to be late, do you? Stefan is a busy man. He won't have time later. Although, of course, he will definitely have time for our chosen one. Dad smiled at me affectionately, patted me on the top of my head, picking out from under the blanket, and went to the window to throw open the curtains. I grimaced and sighed heavily, but didn't say anything. It was better to accept my fate than to start an argument for the 100th time, for which I had no strength in the morning. After almost 20 years of this, I had no strength left to argue, no matter how much my head ached any time I heard the Chosen One stuff. It stuck to me like there was stigma when I was 3 years old, and little had changed since then. The day when my fate was predetermined by the gods, to be more precise, one god according to legends, it's the younger brother of the Mother of Heaven named Lit, I remembered for the rest of my life. Which was strange, because at that time I was no more than 3 years old. Maybe these were false memories that I invented for myself while listening to my parents' stories about this wonderful day throughout my childhood. But it didn't matter whether they were false or not. All that mattered were the blurry pictures stuck in my head. It was the flame of the bonfire which the solemn birthday celebration of all the village children born on this date took place. Just coincided with the end of the year when our settlement in Northern Valley was harvesting. There was the singing of the school choir girls, the smell of freshly brewed blueberry juice. The elders came to give the usual introductions to the younger generation, and at that moment, one of them informed us all that he had a vision. He had seen Lit, who in the form of a starbird, descended to him from the sky and told him that I, a 3-year-old child, the son of a simple father, carried a great destiny. According to the elder, in the future I'd become the head of the community and would lead the village to prosperity and save it from destruction. And if I decided to turn off my path, I would have instantly brought terrible trouble to the village community. Though, what kind of trouble was this? No one specified. We were simply confronted with that fact. And so in an instant I turned from a simple child, the same as all my peers, into a savior whose fate was predetermined by someone from above for the rest of my life. It's awful. I'm glad I'm not like that. In my opinion, the elder's story about Lit, who took the form of a starbird, was strange and did not inspire confidence. But the villagers thought otherwise. Everyone immediately took the elder's words on faith. After all, they used to live like this for many centuries, never questioning this story, which was more like a fairy tale in my eyes. At first, I really liked the idea of being the chosen one. I was a simple child whom few people noticed, who had to do everything on a par with peers and take part in natural competition for toys, for roles in children games, and to keep for bungee jumping. Yet, I became almost the first person in the community looked after like a precious brilliant. I got the best treats, the best toys, the best clothes. Every villager considered it their duty to wish me a good day every time they saw me. The teachers at the village school treated me differently, always helped and didn't give poor grades, even if I deserved them. And how wonderful my birthdays were. Now, my birthday was celebrated separately from the others. Previously, all children born on the same date celebrated the same way, and received the same gifts until the age of 20. But the birthdays of the chosen one were celebrated separately, so the birthdays of the others were usually switched to another day. I got the best, most desired gifts. And most importantly, everything was free. Treats, fancy clothes, anything I could ever ask for. Parents couldn't get enough of it. Their son was the real savior of the community, to whom everything was given, but in return, whose life forever belonged to this tiny piece of land with a settlement on it. It belonged to each resident separately, because I had saved them, even though I didn't know from whom or from what. I had been asking myself this question since I was 10 years old, when the realization of my difficult fate finally settled upon my child's mind. From who could I save the Northern Valley? If it meant the attack of the southern tribes, I would hardly be of any help. It was highly doubtful that I would become an excellent warrior. No matter how much they taught me to fight with swords, I didn't show much success. My teachers had always said that experience would come with time, that I just needed to train tirelessly. But what kind of child would like such a prospect? I did better with a bow, thanks to my good eyesight. Aiming came naturally, but I lacked concentration. My thoughts were constantly hovering somewhere high, causing me to be distracted and miss. In short, even when I seemed to be doing well, I wasn't the best. But the teacher suddenly repeated, it didn't matter, so your destiny is different. Everything always rested on my purpose, and I tried to figure out for myself what it was. The theory of being actually, I don't really want to go through all of this. I know I did a VOD of this where I had done it before, so I'm just gonna find it, see where I got up to. At least I think. Let's see. Yeah. Did I even upload it? Oh dear, I don't think I even uploaded it. Because we had Zoomer, Teardown. Oh dear, I didn't upload it. It's strange, because I swear I could have streamed. I swear I should have streamed it. Well, I'm just going to skip. Until I know I had met Juno. So we're gonna try and get up to Juno and then we'll go from there. Because I know I have seen parts of this. I know I have. I'm sorry if you want me to be a completionist and go through the entire story. I'm not sitting here for 30 to 40 minutes to try and get back to where I was before, when I know I've done this before. Okay, I think this is where we went to Juno, so we'll do this from here. Okay. Oh yeah, there's Juno. All right, cool. All right, we'll go from here. And I don't really care what you think. I'm going from here. All right. At that moment, a creature came out from behind a huge piece of the metal object. It moved on two legs and looked very much like a human. But obviously it wasn't one. This creature had a weapon behind its back, and armor plates covered its entire body. The face was hidden behind a helmet, on which yellow lights were flashing. For a few minutes, it just stood there, not knowing what to do. Oh wait, no, okay, I wasn't afraid. Rather, it was just stupid. Who was this, and what was it doing here? The creature, judging by its shape, was a female. She had noticed me and rushed towards me. She then said something, but I couldn't understand a word. Everything she said resembled one syllable, pronounced in different intonations. Somehow forced myself to get a grip and blinked. Sorry, are you trying to talk to me? The girl, as far as I could tell from her impressive breast, exclaimed something and laughed, raising her hand and pressing something on her helmet. Let's see, can I female voice? Because I had practically lost my voice the past 2 days. But do I have my voice still? Or at least enough of it back that I can try and pitch up without ultimately, ruining my chances. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't think to switch my helmet to the right mode. That's the best you're getting. I have never been to this planet before. I've not had a chance to communicate with the locals. Are you a local? What sex are you? Do you have names here? You're an intelligent species, aren't you? I blinked again, feeling extremely strange. I suppose in some absurd dream. Well, yes, I guess I'm intelligent. The girl in the helmet laughed. Sorry, I didn't introduce myself. You've probably never seen my kind. Oh, and where are my manners? I immediately pounced with questions. So, let's replay everything. I'll start over, okay? Hi, my name is NV0... Hi, my name is NV-0903. I am a prodigy scientist traveling around the galaxy to collect information about fauna and flora on different planets. NV... Could you repeat it? NV-0903, but you can call me Juno. I assume you have names here, right? What's your name? My name is Zero, and I'm, well, just a human. Juno nodded understandingly and smiled. Oh, well, if you're human, then I guess you're male, right? I shrugged my shoulders. Well, yes, I'm a guy. How old are you? I'm sorry, I completely forgot what people look like. I haven't encountered them for a long time. There are no more of them in this galaxy at all. Are you a juvenile specimen? I shook my head. If this was a delusional dream or some kind of hallucination from in my head, then at least I wanted to keep control of the situation. Well, stop calling me that. I am Zero. And who are you? I've never seen anything like you. As I said, I am a prodigious scientist. We are an intelligent species of cyborgs from a very far corner of the universe. Your planet is poorly studied. My species... I can't do high-pitched voices. My species visited some time ago. But then, everything was different here. And there was not much nature. Wow! It's so exciting. I guess there are more animals now, right? Well, of course, there were no people here back then either. I smiled nervously. I hope you don't want to enslave us, or something like that. At that moment, I thought with horror that the oldest production from Lit could be true. That I left the village, brought trouble to the planet. Now aliens from outer space would destroy us. Goosebumps ran down my skin. Even the hair in my head stirred with fright. But Juno looked at me like I was an idiot. Although I couldn't see her face, it seemed to me that all her emotions were conveyed by her helmet, and laughed out loud. What? No! I am a scientist and researcher. I study and document all the planets I travel to. This is our universal mission, and even a hobby. We, Protogens, don't enslave anyone. Don't worry. Ah, well then, that's good. Welcome, I guess. Thank you. What stage of technological progress are you at now? What energy do you use? Blinked again. What are you talking about? I guess I'm not even a Type 1. Damn, I'm sorry. Forget what I said. Everything has to come naturally. Your kind has to figure it out yourself. I'm forbidden to share any knowledge. A friend of mine got a planet a couple decades ago. His inhabitants hadn't even invented the wheel yet and quickly told him everything about how to evolve as soon as possible. As soon as he did it, such chaos began there. It was horrible. So it's better not to tell you anything important. You will have to do everything yourself. What are you even talking about? Am I dreaming? No? Why? Haven't you been in contact with other intelligent species before? I scratched my head. Well, except the Kugels, but they're not that intelligent. Just very clever animals. Kugels? How interesting. And who are they? They're kind of like fish, but not exactly fish. In short, they live on the water and are decently smart creatures. Alright, I'll have to study them later. Sounds really interesting. I swear my voice is cracking, but I can't really tell because I'm wearing headphones and music is playing through them. By the way, your planet is quite beautiful. Where are you from? Do you have a settlement here? Yes, about an hour's walk away. Maybe a bit more, in the Northern Valley. We're the largest community in this section of the planet. You have a small planet, but it's great. We start sooner and finish faster, right? Where do we start? As I said, I have to write down all the information about this planet's nature. Or at least everything I can get to. Could you take me to your elders or whoever's in charge of your village? I swallowed, realizing that I couldn't go back there right now. And of course I couldn't bring some creature of metal over its body, then they would definitely bear me in a ritual. Why do you need them? You see, it's going to be hard for me alone. Usually if there are intelligent races on the planet, I ask a local community for a companion as a guide and assistant. Things are much easier this way. Juno looked at me unexpectedly and realized that I didn't know what to say to her. On the one hand, I could take her to the village and stay there, then somehow explain my behavior and ask the villagers for forgiveness. And that's why I had to beg for permission to stay where I escaped from only yesterday. Of course, I didn't want to continue such an existence, but if I wanted to survive, I had no other choice. But at the same time, I suddenly realized that this was my chance. Maybe this is the signal that the Mother of Heaven sent me? In the form of this strange girl who was standing right in front of me right now and asking for help. I've always dreamed of traveling, dreaming of seeing the world. When else would I get such an excellent opportunity? After all, she probably had some food. She was someone who's prepared for long trips. Well, a creature or protein, it didn't matter. Also, I had such a unique chance to communicate with an alien from outer space. She was a real intelligent being right here, completely unlike a human. More precisely, she looked completely different and somehow similar to us at the same time. I understood that starting a friendship with a lie was no good. It didn't work at all with people. But I couldn't stop myself. You'll need to patch this mistake. That's, something that'll need to be patched. You know, you don't need to go to the village. Actually, you're awfully lucky. The thing is, I'm, well, you could say the second most important person in the village. I was lying godlessly, hoping Juno wouldn't see it. She said that she hadn't seen people for a long time. Maybe she didn't remember how they could lie. Are you? Great, then. It's a long walk to the village. We'll go some other time. You can count on me. I'll help you myself. I'll be your guide. It's not that difficult. I know our planet inside and out. My own lies made my ears burn with shame. What did I know? Nothing. No territories, no plants. I only knew something about animals, berries, and mushrooms. On the first joint outing, my lie would be revealed. But once I started, it would be too late to retreat. After all, this could be my last chance to escape. Zero, that's just great. I didn't expect to be so lucky. Are you sure you know everything here? Eyes on Juno's heart's helmet narrowed suspiciously. I immediately realized that I myself had absolutely no idea how to read if she was lying or being honest. I'd never seen aliens like her. Couldn't read their helmet expression very well. What if she didn't believe me? I decided to lie till the end. Of course, I'm sure you won't regret it. I've lived here all my life. I'll tell you everything, don't worry about it. I smiled a little too broadly, reminding myself of my father and his much too wide smiles, and held out my hand to Juno. Well, do we have a deal? Juno looked at my outstretched palm and smiled. We do. I was still holding my palm, waiting for a handshake, and Juno was standing opposite and smiling. And what? Won't you shake my hand? Juno blinked. Why? We seal the deal, I assume. I will go with you and help you, and you, well, you'll help me not to perish in all these forests. Something like that. Juno shrugged, still not understanding what I was asking of her, but held out her hand. No, not this hand, but the other one. Juno was surprised. What's the difference? This is inconvenient. Here, see, that's better. Her hand was warm and soft. Well, shall we go then? Let's go. But where? At that moment, I was a little confused and looked around. Where should we go? Definitely not in the opposite direction. There was nothing to do there. There was nothing particularly interesting in this forest. There was a settlement nearby and animals tried to stay away from people. Besides, I didn't really want to run into foresters or hunters from our settlement. In that case, they would definitely report everything to the village, and a delegation would shortly be sent to follow Juno and I. What if they attacked her and started a war of the alien race? No, it'd be better to stay away from them. We can start from the other shore. There's a forest river on where all sorts of little animals live. You're interested in that, right? We can look for fangies. They're everywhere right now. It's currently their mating season. Fangies? Interesting. I'll write that down. Juno pressed a button on her helmet and an image with letters appeared in front of her. I watched in amazement as she wrote something down without using ink or pencil. Oh, you probably haven't seen this. It's a hologram, don't worry. I reached out to touch it, but the image passed through my fingers. Cool. Where does this come from? Well, it's easy. There are special light bulbs in my helmet that create the image. Well, shall we go? I looked one more time at the strange thing. The hologram. I tried to catch it with my fingers, but didn't succeed. Of course. Let's go. At that moment, my stomach groaned loudly from hunger. I remembered that I hadn't eaten anything since yesterday and missed the usual, always on schedule breakfast. Heat burned my cheeks when I realized that Juno heard the sound too. Listen, do you happen to have anything to eat in your huge metal thing? Juno looked at me and burst out laughing again. Okay, let me look for something. There should have been something left. I guess some fruit, as I recall. Let's go. What is this thing, by the way? Does it fly? Yes, it's called the jet. There's a lot of stuff in there. It's a cool thing. You'll like it. Only I can open it with my palm prints. No one else can access it. Juno walked over to the jet and put her hand on its side. At that moment, a panel slid away, making it possible to enter inside. Wow. I've never seen anything like it. Well, actually, this is an older model. I should get a new one. I got it a long time ago. It's such an unkillable thing. It's important to me as a memory, you know? I call it Pixie.
Why Pixie?
I don't know. I like it. It's my best friend.
Juno laughed. I couldn't figure out what she was talking about. How could this huge steel thing be your best friend? When we were inside, I suddenly realized. Wait, is this thing alive? Goosebumps ran down my back as soon as I thought about a living creature which could fly through space. Moreover, I was now inside it. This Pixie. And I didn't like it at all. It was like being inside a mythical beast. A giant animal that looks like a walking house with armor instead of skin and horns on its head. But when Juno saw the panic on my face, she burst out laughing again.
You should have seen your face. Just hilarious. No, Zero, don't worry. It's not alive. Although I would really like for it to be alive. Sometimes I just want to chat with someone. Well, chat with a living being, not a... Welcome back, Juno. Glad you're back so soon.
I jumped in fright. I barely had time to step into this huge metal thing, as a strange sounding voice rang from everywhere. Juno smiled.
Don't worry, it's Pixie. Hi, Pixie. I wasn't planning on coming back so soon, but I met a representative of the local species. Meet Zero. He's a human. Hello, Zero. Human. Nice to meet you. I am Pixie, an artificial intelligence assistant.
What the heck is it? I looked around with wide eyes, trying to figure out where the hell the voice was coming from and who was talking to me. The inside of Pixie was clean and very beautiful. It all resembled the hull of a ship from books I read at school. But it was so much more than that. Juno opened a cabinet and took out a box.
Pixie is an artificial intelligence that lives on my jet. Well, he doesn't live, literally. He's not real. It's something like... Let me think, do you have any talking birds?
I thought about it for a bit. Well, yes, we do. We call them talkies, but they don't really talk. They only imitate our voices. They also live in the south, not around here.
My Pixie is almost the same. He doesn't speak for real. He kind of imitates speech. He helps me with the ship and research, and I can also chat with him sometimes if I get bored.
And I can also pitch down my voice because Pixie is apparently male.
Actually, I talk to him all the time. Traveling through space alone, you know, can be very boring. Imagine that there's only endless emptiness and silence around you, and not a single living soul until you reach the next station for refueling.
Juno pointed with her hand at something resembling a chair. I didn't know what it was called, and I sat there, taking the box she handed me.
Help yourself. These are fruits, still very fresh. I especially froze them as soon as I had picked them. I hope you like it.
I'm gonna drink some water. Glug, glug, glug. Put on a smile, still feeling weird, and opened the box. Inside were bright red pieces of some fruit unknown to me. It was unbelievable. A fruit from another planet. I turned the piece over in my hands, looking at its veins before I put it in my mouth. After chewing it, I shrugged. It isn't bad. Reminds me of our droplet berries in some way. Later, I'll show you a tree full of them.
Sounds great. Now hurry up. We still have so much to do.
Juno was fussing over the jet. She was clearly impatient to start a trip as soon as possible. She fished out a large closet, something that looked like a bag, and shoved in a couple items, the purpose of which I didn't know. What are you doing?
I'm collecting provisions for you. I didn't think I'd find a traveling companion so quickly. That's why I didn't repair anything.
But we probably won't go far today, right? I'll take a bit of everything. You'll wear a backpack, it shouldn't be too heavy. I hope you're in good physical condition.
Juno looked at me, still eating a piece of fruit. Well, yes, I'm sure it won't be hard. I continued to lie shamelessly, but what could I do? Should I say that I had never gone further than the edge of my village in my life? Then Juno would definitely send me back home or even toss me away. And I didn't want any of that. Moreover, there were so many new interesting things here. I've never seen anything like it, and I probably wouldn't see it ever again if I was forced to leave. Fortunately, Juno didn't recognize the lie in my voice and grinned.
Great. See how lucky I am? Oh, I wish it was like that everywhere. On one of the planets in the neighboring galaxy, I was almost crucified when I came to them for help. Locals there seemed to be intelligent but very aggressive. They decided I was some kind of deity from the underworld and tried to kill me. They almost cut off my feet, too.
Well, you have a hard job. Juno shrugged her shoulders.
But I do what I like. By the way, what do you do? Do you have a job?
I tried to make up something as soon as possible. You know, actually, I'm still studying. I train, study science, something like that. We have a lot of work in the village, but I haven't really had the chance to do any of that work yet. It was only partly true. The reality was a lot of work in the village, fishing, farming, hunting, carpentry. No. There really was a lot of work in the village. Fishing, farming, hunting, and carpentry, but I wasn't allowed to do any of it. So that I didn't get hurt anywhere. Didn't break anything. Didn't bother myself, and, most importantly, didn't get distracted from my main job. To be the chosen one.
You are the chosen one.
So you're still young, aren't you? How old are you?
I turned 20 yesterday. I became an adult. I smiled sourly.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Juno looked at me with genuine sympathy. I was surprised. Why?
I mean, it was your birthday.
So what? It's just a holiday. Why do you feel sorry? Juno's face immediately changed.
Oh, sorry. It's different everywhere. We, for example, consider the birthday a very sad day. After all, we became a whole year older, which brings us closer to our death. But in your case, congratulations.
Our birthdays are considered a holiday. Well, that we celebrate that we managed to live for another year. No one's attacked us, no stone fell on our head. In general, it's a massive event.
Very interesting. How do you celebrate it?
I celebrate the whole evening. Usually the birthdays of all the children who were born on the same date are celebrated all at once. Well, adults don't really celebrate no more. They have their own worries. Birthdays are usually celebrated before the age of 20, but as soon as you become an adult, that's it. You've completed the important task of growing up. Now there's no time for fun. And you need to work for the benefit of the community.
That's great. I'll write that down. You don't mind if I study you a little too, do you? Not that this is my specialty. I usually only study nature, but other intelligent races are so interesting.
I smiled broadly at Juno. Not a problem. How many planets have you been to?
Oh, a lot. I've been working for a long time. Due to the fact that I travel through space, I don't even remember exactly how many years have passed. I don't have any reason to return home to my planet, so I rarely return there. My whole life is a job, but I like it. There's no time to be bored or sad, especially when there are so many interesting and unusual things out there.
I'm still dying a little bit. Juno smiled at me, judging by the image of her helmet. When I finished with the food, she took the box, which she called the container, and stood with her hands on her hips.
So, are you ready to go?
Yes, of course. I was born ready. I think this is around where I had left off previously. A shame I didn't upload the VOD, because I swore I had streamed it, but I don't know, I guess some things just aren't meant to be, you know?
After we got out of the pixie jet, Juno closed it and pressed something on her helmet. After a couple of seconds, the jet became completely transparent. I gasped in delight. Wow, what did you do? I activated a special disguise so that no one will notice it. I don't want some random person to see Pixie and consider it some kind of sign of the devil. So, where should we go? I looked around and pointed my finger in the direction of the opposite shore. I guess we'll go this way. Juno gave a thumbs up, walked to the water's edge, and pressed up her helmet again, stepped right on the water. Golden plates appeared under her feet, allowing her to walk straight across the river. Wow, that's great. Can I try it? Of course. Give me your hand. Juno took my hand and we started across the river. I walked behind her, trying to hit the hard plates, which quickly disappeared as soon as I took my foot off them. They felt solid to the touch and didn't seem to weigh anything. How does it work? It looks incredible. These are old pieces of technology. I used them to cross small rivers. It only works with certain substances. Water, for example. But we're still lucky that you have a good chemical composition in your water. Otherwise, we would have to swim. Soon, we were on the opposite shore. The forest there was thicker and full of various natural sounds. Chirping of birds, the whistling of animals, the buzzing of insects. Juno led the way and I followed her. Although, logically, it should have been the other way around. After all, I volunteered to be her escort. As we walked, Juno shone a golden light from her helmet on the trees and bushes. What are you doing? Oh, I'm scanning the area. I usually do this to study the simplest plants and living things. They are in many ways similar to those I have found on other planets in your galaxy. How many planets are there in our galaxy? Oh, not many. I've been to 5 so far. Your galaxy is quite small, at least smaller than the ones I've come across before. I would like to find some unusual species here. Can you tell me what lives here? Oh, let me think. There are, for example, grouchy mushrooms in our forest. We call them that because they start making sounds like grunts when you walk past them. They are inedible and can spew a poisonous vapor, which, while not fatal, can cause severe drowsiness. Sounds interesting. What do they look like? I tried to remember from the picture from the books I read. Well, they're very small and bowl-shaped. It's a grey shade, not to be confused with anything. Look, they're right there. I pointed to the ground. Growing next to one of the trees was a whole family of grouchy mushrooms. Since we got closer, they began to whisper to each other, and the yellowish fog swirled over the round heads. Sorry, mushrooms, I need one of you as a sample. They're not intelligent, are they? Juno turned to me, squatting down, and I laughed. Of course not. How can mushrooms be intelligent? They can. On some planets, they understand everything, and they have entire communities there. On some planets, the inhabitants consist only of mushrooms. More precisely, the mushrooms on them are the only inhabitants. Boring planets, probably. To some extent, yes. Juno pulled a small mushroom out of the ground, which began to grumble angrily and spit yellowish fog at her. But Juno didn't raise an eyebrow. Apparently, the helmet saves her from unnecessary exposure. Turn around. I'll put this in your backpack. I turned around and Juno opened the backpack and shoved the mushroom into a smaller bag. We can move on now. They're just... Oh. Look. We'd be hanging out in the woods all day. I didn't know how much time had passed. We wandered around, stopping every 10 minutes at some plant or living creature. Juno didn't collect analysis samples. According to her, it was enough to photograph them. She explained it meant to capture the image with her helmet and take a smear from them. But she cut off a piece from the plants and tucked them into my backpack, intending to study them in her laboratory in the near future. After a few hours of such an unusually long walk, I was ready to just fall to the ground and stay there. My whole body ached and my legs were buzzing terribly. I wanted to eat and sleep, but I couldn't say a word to Juno. I didn't lie to her, saying that it was the hardest of all because I absolutely did not want to make a fool of myself. 2 hours later, when the sun began to sink near the horizon and get tangled in the crowns of the trees, Juno looked at me and said thoughtfully, "You look kind of weird. Are you alright?" I shrugged, pretending everything was just fine. I had no idea why she would ask such a thing. "Yes, I'm cool. I feel fit as a fiddle. I mean, why wouldn't I be?" "I don't know. Does your species change color?" I blinked. No, of course not. Then why are you covered with the spots? I dropped the stick I was leaning on, testing the ground under my feet, and quickly looked from the feet to my hands. How could I have not noticed it? My whole body was covered with strange-looking red spots. Unable to restrain myself, I cried out in surprise and fright. What the hell is this? Mother of Heaven? I began to rub my skins, but the spots didn't go anywhere. Juno suddenly exclaimed, Oh damn, how stupid am I? I didn't even think that I was giving you fruits from another planet. You must be allergic or something. It was unnecessary to conduct experiments first. And only then. I'm so sorry, Zero. It's probably my fault. Don't blame yourself. I guess I was just... Oh. I suddenly felt dizzy and I almost fell, grabbing the first tree that came to hand in time. Juno jumped towards me. She grabbed my arms and helped me lean on her shoulders. Juno was a little tall and stronger than me, so I happily hung on. In addition to all the other ailments, fatigue was added, and I almost fell to the ground. Just a second, Zero. I'm going to call Pixie. It'll find us and you'll be able to take a rest, okay? I hope you aren't getting worse. How stupid am I? Juno began to wait for the forest, apparently intending to find some clearing to summon Pixie. When she succeeded, the jet was already hanging over the tops of the trees and immediately descended, removing its disguise. Juno dragged me on board and threw me into the same chair it sat in earlier. Damn, what should I do? I don't have anything for your kind. Oh, I'm so sorry. How would I felt like I was going to throw up. Juno. Maybe one of my medications will work for you? I mean, for example, maybe... Juno. No, stupid idea. I'll just kill you. What should I do then? Juno. Juno turned to me, and at that moment I threw up right under her feet, along with the meager feelings of my stomach. Mainly it was just water, and there was also a small berry on the floor, which I'd eaten in the forest. Juno squealed. Holy crap, what the... Zero, is this some kind of special way for you to protract attention? Juno jumped away from the pole, miraculously not getting her shoes dirty. I leaned back wearily. No, I don't think so. I just threw up. I closed my eyes wearily, but as soon as the berry had jumped out of my stomach, it became much easier for me. Not your root, apparently. I ate a poisonous berry. Juno was surprised. A poisonous berry? Well, why'd you do that? I don't know. Seemed to me like it was just an ordinary berry. It's very similar to what we usually collect and eat. Damn it, I'm such a fool. Look, your spots are disappearing. I looked at my hands, and indeed, the spots gradually faded until they finally disappeared from my skin. As soon as I got my usual color, Juno burst out in merry laughter. The case is solved, Zero. Are you sure you know everything about your flora and fauna? I blinked. Of course, why not? It's just that sometimes I can be wrong. Like everyone else, but I just guess some poisonous berries and mushrooms are very similar in color and shape to the edible ones. I think I'll take this berry as a sample. Juno finished the berry out of the peak with a special device and, after washing it with water, placed it within another bag. Meanwhile, it was already beginning to get dark inside. The sky dimmed and the sun sank below the horizon. Juno looked down. I don't think we're going out tonight. You still don't look very well. I whispered to myself. Glory to Mother of Heaven. Juno looked to turn at me. What did you say? I'd say what a pity. I wanted to travel so much more. Well, apparently I can't. Don't worry. Tomorrow, when you feel better, we will definitely travel all day and all night to learn as much as possible. I'm so glad you're willing to work so hard. I tried to stifle a miserable groan. Instead of swearing, I just smiled. Of course, no problem. Listen, can I wash up somewhere and go to bed? Yes, of course. Let me show you everything. Juno ordered Pixie to clean up the puddle on the floor and dragged me to another compartment of the jet. I have a shower stall here. Here, you can turn on the water like this. Actually, you know, I'll ask Pixie. He'll set up everything for you. I stared at the flashing buttons on the panel, as if it were the Mother of Heaven descended from the clouds, and I had no idea what to do. As soon as Juno walked out, I was left alone in the booth and hastily undressed. Pixie? Yes, Zero. I am listening. Can you turn on the water for me? Of course, Zero. Just 1 second. I After a couple of moments, water poured down on me from all sides. I almost screamed in surprise. It was like a waterfall. I almost slipped on the floor, but only managed to grab the walls. Somehow getting used to these miracles, I began to wash. Pixie also gave me some kind of small brush that advised me to brush my teeth. I didn't resist, although we usually cleaned our teeth with another thing, a special piece of cloth. When I came out, Juno was sitting in a chair, and her helmet showed nothing. I even thought she'd fallen asleep, but as soon as I took a step, the picture appeared. So, did you figure it out? Yes, Pixie helped me. I'm thanking for that. I've been thinking about where you could sleep tonight. I guess you could sleep on my bed. I'll go sleep in the cryo chamber. Usually I don't have visitors.
Once again, I'm gonna need to replace this fucking chair. It's falling apart. The leather, in quotations, is just falling apart.
Juno smiled at me. I don't know, it sounds wrong to me. I mean, it's your jet. I don't want to kick you out of your own bed. Maybe you'd rather lie down on your bed yourself, and I'm in this... what did you call it? That's very nice of you, but I'd rather lie down in the cryo chamber capsule myself. It's not turned on right now, of course, but what if you press some buttons in your sleep? Also, I'm used to sleeping there, and it might be uncomfortable for you. So please, lie down on my bed. You don't have to worry.
Juno pointed to a bed in the corner of the compartment.
The bed looked exactly the same as ours, but bigger. I couldn't even dream of such a big bed. Then, good night, I guess? Good night? Oh, yeah, I guess.
Don't you wish good night?
No, we just say bye. Bye, Zero. I'll see you tomorrow.
I smiled and shrugged my shoulders.
Goodbye, Juno. I am going to save. There we are. Because if I don't save, I might lose my progress again. The OST in this isn't that bad for being instrumental tracks. Okay, continuing. Our journey continued the next day. As it turned out, Juno was a pretty early bird. She got up even earlier than I was used to. The sun hadn't even risen, and she was already walking around the jet, sometimes hiding in her laboratory. I didn't know what kind of laboratory it was. We didn't have anything like that. But as Juno explained to me, the laboratory was a special place where she did her research. The next day, my whole body ached. I wasn't used to such long travels. I never walked so much before. Juno informed me that we would stay at this location for another day to take a few remaining samples and then go to the swamp at night to collect materials of nocturnal plants and animals. I didn't mind, although I didn't want to really go anywhere. Juno's Juno's bed turned out to be just magical. Soft as a feather, comfortable, big. It was a pleasure to sleep on it. And what I liked the most, no one woke me up at dawn, trying to drag me off to always the same breakfast, exercise with Damien. But despite how much I rejoiced at the freedom that finally appeared, an unpleasant longing stirred in my chest. When we were walking through the woods and Juno was collecting the remaining samples, she asked, "Why are you so sad? Did something happen?" I immediately kicked my thoughts away and tried to take control of my facial expression. "No, it's fine. I was just thinking." "Why'd you ask?" "I don't know. I thought you were worried about something." "Well, if you don't want to talk, then of course you don't have to." Juno gave up her questions too quickly and smiled as she went back to work. We continued to wade through the forest. Thanks to Juno, it was easier for us. She found the best pathways by scanning the area with her helmet, and I could immerse myself in the most joyful thoughts. I was thinking about my parents. I was gone for 2 days already, which hadn't even happened before, and I didn't know how they were feeling now or what they were even doing out there. They must have been terribly worried, totally freaked out. And I was sure they were looking for me, but what could I do? Did I push myself to such an act? I kicked the tree branch into my foot inside. I didn't make this choice in the first place. I didn't want to be chosen. But now, for once, I chose what to do and where to go. Juno was fun, but from time to time I thought back to my parents, even though I tried to control it. Hey, I think we go back to Pixie. By the way, I was thinking, maybe need to pack something to eat? What about mushrooms? We could cook them. I have a kitchen on the jet. Juno turned to me, holding the last sample, which she shoved into my backpack. I immediately tensed up. I didn't really know a damn thing about mushrooms. Only that bright red and bright yellow and deadly poisonous mushrooms that can kill a huge animal. But which of the others were edible? It's probably better to dig up the roots of plants. They're more nutritious and tastier. Mushrooms aren't really that good. Okay, whatever you say. What do you usually eat? Oh, well, a lot of things. All sorts of cereals, vegetables, fruit. We also even eat meat. We have a whole family of hunters in the village that bring home game animals, and fishermen provide us fish. Do you need to buy all this from each other? Not really. We exchange with each other what we can. Hunters and fishermen usually bring meat and fish, farmers bring vegetables, fruits, and cereals. Ranchers get milk and eggs, tailors provide clothes, and they get food for it. In general, everyone does what they can. Interesting. Quite an old system. We're alone here. Nails used to sell some things to neighboring villages for crystals, but I live far away, and our relations have deteriorated. So we've been supporting ourselves for several years. So, you have crystals? Great, we'll need to find a couple. We'll need to go to the lands of the eastern villages. They have mountains of them there, which crystals are mined. Great, we'll go there. So, what kind of roots did you want to dig up? I scratched the back of my head, looked around carefully. It was necessary to come up with the idea right now. Actually, I needed to find food. I couldn't just eat Juno's supplies. She probably had a limited amount meant only for her. But I didn't want to get poisoned again at all. In the end, I pointed to a plant that looked more or less familiar. There. These are very nutritious and delicious. Just a second. I took hold of the stems and pulled with all my strength, almost plopping down on my ass. There were too few roots, so I had to pull out more of them. I think that's enough. You'll indite. Juno shrugged her shoulders. Well, I hope so. Come on. Pixie will help you. We're just doing constant lying. That's all we're doing. Dear God. Back on the jet, we started cooking. I didn't know how to cook. After all, my parents in the village just cooked all the food for me throughout my life, and therefore I didn't know at all what to do with the raw ingredients. I didn't want to lose face from my Juno, so I tried to deal with it. And then I just washed the roots and put them in the boiling water. The dish turned out disgusting. It was a stretch to even call it a dish. The roots turned out to be quite different from what I expected. They were sour, bitter, soft and like oatmeal and bland. But Juno was watching me carefully and saying, so I had to be careful. Carefully control my facial expressions. Well, how do you like it? Threw all my strength into not making a face. It's great, so yummy. I almost choked. One of the pieces got stuck in my throat, and I immediately washed it down with water. Juno was sitting across from me, her head propped in her hand. Honestly, it looks disgusting. She made a sad expression for a helmet, but I'd already gotten used to most of her digital face expressions. It was still strange for me not to see the face of the person I was communicating with, only a picture, like in a book. No, I'm telling you, it's yummy. You sure you don't want to try it? Juno shook her head. No, I have my own food, but thanks for the offer, Zero. It smells even worse than the sight of this thing. Do you really eat that? Swallowed another mouthful of it. Yes, it's quite healthy. There are a lot of different sorts of, vitamins and other useful substances in plants. And it does taste much better than it looks. So great that every plant has its own interesting traditions. Put on a smile, which wasn't so easy for me. Oh, and we ended up a time skip. Gonna do another save.
And I'm gonna be honest, I am actually getting a bit tired because, once again, I am recovering from sickness. So I might actually just call it quits now. So, sorry, but I'll try and see if I can get anything else going. Maybe I can continue this next week. Along with probably some more teardown in Minecraft. I'll probably get that stuff going in, because those are like serious sort of things where continuation is needed. So I'll go through the schedules, try and figure it out. I'm pretty sure Monday and Tuesday afternoon streams are not going to be happening. And I'm going to need to do a quick redesign of it because I need to change it back to the 12:30 p.m. time instead of the 1 p.m. time. And yeah, so there's still some stuff for me to figure out with that. But otherwise, thanks for showing up, and I'll see you some other time.